What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and I'm back after a long bout of being sick. Man, let me tell you something, man. When the women in your life tell you that it's cold and drizzling and all that type of stuff, and you still feel the need to show how dedicated you are to working out, you still go outside, just don't be hard-headed. Just do what you're supposed to do and listen. You know, because even with that, if you're going to get sick working out, do it the right way. Go to the gym and touch all the equipment. Trust me, you'll definitely get sick from all that. But forget all that. Your man is back. And at the same time that I'm coming back, the X Factor is back. Hero Heinickie is back in the starting lineup at a time that we actually need him. I'm going to say this. I told y'all, we're going to see a more efficient offense. We're not going to see the problems on third down that we saw when Carson Wentz was in the game or in the starting lineup. We're going to see a different offense. Now, I will say this. Yeah, we might lose some of the arm strength stuff, but we haven't seen what Taylor's been doing in the offseason. A lot of the stuff that was going on, we saw he was actually working on his arm strength, trying his best to get his rotator cuff stronger and things like that. So that's actually a really good thing. You know, we might actually see a stronger arm Taylor Heinickie. Now, don't get me wrong. He won't be a deep ball thrower like Carson Wentz was, but he will show some changes. And we're going to see what baking he was doing in the lab. Because even though a lot of people were down on Taylor, I still felt that Taylor was, in my honest opinion, was probably still the better quarterback for us. And because of that, we're going to see a different guy. Understand this. He's gonna actually do things that we thought Carson Wentz was going to do. He's going to target Terry more. He's going to target J.D. McKissick more. He's going to target Antonio Gibson. He now gets a compliment to Terry and Curtis Samuel. I just heard the news about Jahan Dotson and the hamstring and stuff like that. I'm going to tell y'all like this about what I think about hamstrings and things like that. It takes a minimum in my personal opinion, I think it takes about a minimum of at least 2 real weeks, 2.5 weeks, for it to actually not be a problem. Because when it's always the same. A guy goes out and then next thing you know, what ends up happening is he ends up hurting the hamstring again. So in reality, a guy needs close to 3 weeks. I say close to 3 weeks. A guy needs close to 3 weeks before the hamstring is actually ready to really, before it actually heals properly. Because other than that, especially when you're talking about these young guys, it just doesn't work that way. Like you're not going to get back on the field as fast as you want and not experience the pain and the discomfort that you get from a hamstring. So with that being said, in reality, Jahan Dotson probably shouldn't have came back this week. You know, so the fact that he kind of like tweaked it again is a sad thing, but we'll definitely see what happens in this game. But again, these are the things that is going to help a guy like Taylor Heinickie become a better quarterback. Understand, he won 7 games without all the weapons that he now has available to him this time around. My only concern, I got 2 concerns. And these are pretty much my kind of like my keys to the game, my 2 keys to the game. One is Scott Norwood. I'm concerned about Scott Norwood because the benefit that we have is that Taylor is a right arm quarterback. So he'll be able to pay attention to the fact that if Scott Norwood gets blown up, he can get out of there immediately, but he shouldn't have to worry himself about that, especially when he's trying to throw downfield. A lot of people don't understand that if a quarterback is watching an offensive lineman and not watching the routes develop in front of him, he's going to have a problem, which is kind of technically what Carson Wentz had to do. Carson Wentz was so zoned in on the line that he wasn't paying attention to the routes down the field. But again, we eliminate that with Heinickie because he can move in the pocket, he can step up in the pocket, and if need be, he can break the pocket and run. So with that, Scott Norwood is one of the issues, and hopefully we find a way to repair that. Next, the other key, that's something that's really, really important, is Scott Turner, the scheming and game planning and creating a game plan directly related to Taylor Heinickie. Not sitting up there trying to make him something he's not. If he's not a pocket passer, move the pocket. Do things that's going to benefit him. Do things that's going to benefit the line. We already know Scott Norwood is an awful offensive lineman, so you're going to have to get him moving. You're going to have to find ways to get him away from standing up and just taking on rushes. Because understand this next game, Kenny Clark is not going to play with Scott Norwood. Kenny Clark is going to kill Scott Norwood if he plays around, and we cannot have that type of problem coming into this game. Also, like I said, Taylor is going to be able to do stuff that Carson Wentz just wasn't able to do. He's going to target Terry more. He's going to target J.D. McKissick more. He's going to target a lot of people more. And because of that, we're going to see a completely different offense. And I am excited about that. Now, I will say this. Within these next several games, I say about 4 to 6 games, if Taylor's faulting, then I understand that, yeah, we need to go back to what it is. But understand this, y'all. And this is coming from a lot of your mouths. You all call him a high-level backup. Well, guess what? If he's a high-level backup, we shouldn't have an issue. Nobody should have an issue the fact that Taylor is stepping in. Everybody should be excited that Taylor's stepping in, especially seeing how bad Carson Wentz was playing. So if Taylor Heinickie is our high-level backup, then guess what? We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Because he's going to make things happen that wasn't happening at first. Now, he does a good job of protecting himself. He does do that. We actually got close to a full season out of him. He only missed 1 game, and that was due to COVID. So in reality, we're actually getting a very good player in this thing. We're actually getting a very good guy. And for some of y'all who wanted the Sam Howell experiment, understand, I told y'all, Sam Howell isn't ready. He needs bacon. His on-field intelligence isn't up there yet. And once he gets that up there, then we can start him. But other than that, he's not ready at all. Another thing I want to say, because I need to bring this up because this falls in line with Scott Turner and why he's so awful, because I think that a lot of people think that I just say he's awful without telling you why he's awful. The reason he's awful is because, unlike some other coaches we've seen, there are some that come under the tutelage of certain coaches that it benefits them because that head coach is in the same the head coach has done exactly what the other one has done. So a prime example, the reason why we're seeing so much success under that Shanahan regime, under that Shanahan lineage, is because Mike Shanahan himself was an offensive coordinator and an offensive guy. So of course, all his coaches that come from up under him all his offensive coaches that come from up under him, they all look good because they got to learn offense from the guy who knew offense. So they were able to find out about his awareness. They were able to pay attention to things like that. Even for Sean McVay himself came up under not only John Gruden and Jay Gruden, but also under Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan. So he got the benefit of basically being an understudy to some of the best offensive minds there is. You know, so the reason Scott Turner is failing is because all of his tutelage has come under Ron Rivera, and Ron Rivera basically being a hands-off defensive guy. You know, like if the Jack Del Rio was the Scott Turner, like if he was like a young up-and-coming defensive coordinator, I would trust Ron to basically tutor this guy. But when it comes to Scott Turner, he's giving Scott Turner way too much freedom. And because Scott Turner doesn't have the tutelage that he needs, and he's not getting it as often as he needs, like in those meetings. You know, if he had an offensive mind in there, an offensive mind have been like, hey, look, this play right here you saw, that wasn't a good play. And this is why it wasn't a good play. Understand, these guys, this is your personnel you got to work with. Find plays that help these type of guys. Because Scott didn't get that level of tutelage, that is why Scott is failing as an offensive coordinator. And I know some of y'all saying, well, but John, his dad is Norv Turner. That's true. His dad is Norv Turner. But Norv Turner isn't the head coach. Norv Turner isn't in the building every day. So Scott is left to his own vices and sitting up there, and he thinks that game planning is all you have to do. And that's not what you have to do. And because of that, we're going to have to really see. We're going to actually see if it's more Scott Turner's play calling or is it Taylor Heinicke's play that actually starts winning us games. And until those two marry each other, we're going to see problems no matter what. But again, the X factor. Hero Heinicke is back in the starting lineup. And like I said, we're going to see a completely different offense. And like I said again, this is actually a good thing. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. I will preface this with saying this. This is only like, what, a week for him to actually work with the first team. So he knows the offense and everything like that. But he's going to have to get acclimated to a few guys. Curtis Samuel, he wasn't acclimated to him. He's going to have to find a way to get acclimated to him. You know, Cole Turner is a new guy. John Bates is technically a new guy, kind of like a new guy. But he's going to have to get associated with all these guys. This new line. He's going to have to figure out what's happening with this new line, especially Scott Norwood. But again, to me, I think this is a great thing. I want to let y'all all know that I will be bringing more content to the channel. NBA has started, NHL has started, and the Major League Baseball all season is getting ready to start. So once the playoffs and everything is over, but again, more content is about to come your way. It will be Commanders heavy, but still, more content is about to come your way. Y'all tell me what y'all think. How many of you are actually excited that the X Factor Hero Heinicke is back in the starting lineup? And how many of y'all are really worried about it? Y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think this changes the whole dynamic of what's happening with this team? Do we see a different offense as we go into these very tough 4-game stretch that we're about to see with Hero Heinicke, the X Factor? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.